Hi Dee, greetings. Edu Masicho, thank you for the opportunity to join you today, and thank you to Tribal Chief Mina Holmes from the Carrier Secondary Tribal Council for inviting me, and for the important work that you do on behalf of all Dakal people. I also wish to acknowledge the elders of the community, past, present, and emerging, and all the good people gathered today virtually for this presentation. I'm honored to be speaking in the historic gathering place virtually by where the Fraser and the Chaco rivers meet, and to be currently a guest in Treaty 1 territory, working at the University of Manitoba within the heart of the Red River Métis homelands, also known as Winnipeg. My name is Camille Callison. I'm from the Tuskia clan of the Tahltan Nation, which is located north of you in British Columbia, close to the Yukon border. And within the Yukon and Alaska, we are the people of the Stikine. One of the things that I remember and I carry with me as I go is a saying that my late grand uncle, Robert Kwok, taught me. We belong to the land. It is so important for me, no matter where I am and who I am with, to acknowledge where I'm from. I hope to honor my heritage today by facilitating a better understanding of why it's important for Indigenous people to preserve their living and traditional knowledges. So I really wanted to encourage you today in the work that you're doing and the ongoing work in your archive and in your new agreement with the Carrier Secondary Tribal Council and the work that they're doing within the community to preserve the language. Indigenous knowledge is dynamic. It's been sustained since time immemorial, but has transformed in the modern era to produce new knowledge, which is included in music, theater, dance, photography, literary expressions, language applications, and definitely social media and digital collections. Many communities in Canada have the essence of their libraries and archives in what we would call our elders' libraries and archives, but because we have material library and archives that were part of our community and held by our community, they often are now held in libraries and archives and museums outside of our community. Because of the holistic nature of the way that we look at Indigenous knowledges, this knowledge is so important for it to come back to our community and to be connected back to our land and to our waterways, because our land is the essence of who we are, and the water brings us life. And so without that connection and that relationship with our land and to the original peoples of that knowledge, something is definitely lost in the cultural transmission of that knowledge. Right now, today, in this precarious time, when we have a global pandemic going on, it is actually attacking the very essence of who we are as Indigenous people by attacking our elders and those who have precarious health conditions. And that knowledge continuum is also being attacked. And so it really is about cultural survival. It's about us surviving as a community and preserving that knowledge. So if there is ever a time where we need to be more passionate and more proactive about preserving our languages and our knowledge and connecting them to our people and to our land, and passing them on to the next generation in a culturally appropriate manner, it would be now. For Indigenous people, we know that those knowledge systems have developed a wealth of information and cultural expression that they rightly want to preserve and to protect and pass on. We can do this through using that information that's already existing in our libraries and archives, gathered for many things, whether it was land claims or treaties or working with referrals, working with heritage conservation. All of that knowledge should come together as a nation, irregardless of political separations, because that knowledge is only holistic when it's together and it's connected to each other. And so I really encourage you to preserve and to protect your knowledge in a central archive that's for all Dalek people to be able to work together, to take a nationwide approach and to highlight that interconnectedness between our histories, our land, and the time that we've spent on them. I also encourage elders to be proactive, and those who are emerging elders to work with those elders to preserve that knowledge. Sometimes it's because we don't feel like we have the knowledge to preserve, but there is knowledge that we all carry with us that needs to be recorded and documented for future generations to be able to access and to be provided for language right revitalization work or for education and for programming in the future. Therefore, it is my honor and privilege to be here today and to encourage you in developing those protocols for preserving accessing and passing on that knowledge to the next generation. I actually am in this work today because of Dr. Jean Joseph, who is a Wet'suwet'en Dalek librarian, although she is now retired, but she was instrumental for me working at Weewa Library when I was a student. And so I really want to acknowledge that today, that you have had a history of protecting and preserving your knowledge and language in the future, and to continue that using the systems that we have in place today, and that political aspects of protecting that need to be pushed aside, especially in the day of COVID, and cultural survival needs to be assured for the next generation. So with that, I'll say Maducho or Masicho, thank you for your time and attention. And I want to encourage you to continue in the good work that I know that you are already doing in your archives, but to enhance that work and to speed it up a little bit more so that people have access to that in the future.